Sahih al-Bukhari 1721. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was asked about a person who had his head shaved before slaughtering his Hajj or other similar ceremonies of Hajj. He replied, "There is no harm, there is no harm." Sahih al-Bukhari 1722. Narrated Ibn Abbas. A man said to the Prophet, "I performed the Tawaf al-Ifada before the Rami, throwing pebbles at the Jamra." The Prophet replied, "There is no harm." The man said, "I had my head shaved before slaughtering." The Prophet replied, "There is no harm." He said, "I have slaughtered the Hadi before the Rami." The Prophet replied, "There is no harm." Sahih al-Bukhari 1723. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was asked by a man who said, "I have done the Rami in the evening." The Prophet replied, "There is no harm in it." Another man asked, "I had my head shaved before the slaughtering." The Prophet replied, "There is no harm in it." Sahih al-Bukhari 1724. Narrated Abu Musa. I came upon Allah's Messenger when he was at Al-Batha. He asked me, "Have you intended to perform the Hajj?" I replied in the affirmative. He asked, "For what have you assumed Ihram?" I replied, "I have assumed Ihram with the same intention as that of the Prophet." The Prophet said, "You have done well. Go and perform Tawaf round the Kaaba and between Safa and Marwa." Then I went to one of the women of Bani Qais and she took out lice from my head. Later, I assumed the Ihram for Hajj. So, I used to give this verdict to the people till the Caliphate of Umar. When I told him about it, he said, "If we follow the Holy Book, then it orders us to complete Hajj and Umrah, Hajj at Tamatu, and if we follow the tradition of Allah's Messenger, then Allah's Messenger did not finish his ram till the Hadi had reached its destination, had been slaughtered." I.e. Hajj al-Qiran. Sahih al-Bukhari 1725. Narrated Ibn Umar. Hafsa said, "O Allah's Messenger, what is wrong with the people? They finished their Ihram after performing Umrah, but you have not finished it after your Umrah." He replied, "I matted my hair and have garlanded my Hadi. So, I cannot finish my Ihram till I slaughter my Hadi." Sahih al-Bukhari 1726. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger, P.B.U.H., got his head shaved after performing his Hajj. Sahih al-Bukhari 1727. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "O Allah, be merciful to those who have their head shaved." The people said, "O Allah's Messenger, and invoke Allah for those who get their hair cut short." The Prophet said, "O Allah, be merciful to those who have their head shaved." The people said, "O Allah's Messenger, and those who get their hair cut short." The Prophet said the third time, "And to those who get their hair cut short." Nafi said that the Prophet had said once or twice, "O Allah, be merciful to those who get their head shaved," and on the fourth time he added, "And to those who have their hair cut short." Sahih al-Bukhari 1728. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "O Allah, forgive those who get their heads shaved." The people asked, "Also those who get their hair cut short?" The Prophet said, "O Allah, forgive those who have their heads shaved." The people said, "Also those who get their hair cut short?" The Prophet invoked Allah for those who have their heads shaved and, at the third time said, "Also, forgive those who get their hair cut short." Sahih al-Bukhari 1729. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet and some of his companions got their heads shaved and some others got their hair cut short. Sahih al-Bukhari 1730. Narrated Muawiyah. I cut short the hair of Allah's Messenger with a long blade.